Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Katie. I am the owner and artist behind Salvaged by K. Scott. I found another free dresser at the side of the road. It has been an awesome summer for free furniture finds, but I'm pretty sure as soon as the weather starts to change around here, especially when the snow starts to fly, that's gonna be it for my luck with free furniture for a little while anyways. This flip had a little bit of a snafu right at the very end, or what I thought was the very end. So make sure that you hang out through the whole video to see what went wrong and how I fixed it. A lot like the dresser in my last video, this one was caked in a gummy peeling layer of latex paint that needed to come off before I could rescue it from the trash. Let's head out to the garage and I'll give you guys a close-up look. This is a little pine IKEA dresser, 4 drawers, orange pine underneath this really gnarly latex finish. I mean, I don't even have fingernails and I could just peel it off in giant sheets like this. Obviously, all of this latex finish needs to go, but I have a really cool design idea in mind that I've been holding on to for a really long time. I'm gonna be using this awesome cane webbing. Here is the design inspiration that I've been hanging on to for so long. All of these ideas I found on Pinterest, and I'm gonna try and put that vibe onto this dresser. In last week's video, I struggled hard using this stripper to get the latex finish off of the dresser I was working on. You guys totally came to the rescue in the comments section and gave me some really hot tips. First of all, you gotta use way more product than you could ever imagine is necessary. You wanna make sure that you're not brushing over an area more than once. And once I had all of this stripper on, I covered it in some plastic and let it do its thing. I am still not a fan of this whole paint stripper process, but it worked a lot better this time with the plastic and the extra stripper on there. The paint came off much, much easier. The instructions on my can of stripper said to use steel wool and mineral spirits to thoroughly scrub down the piece and stop the chemical reaction. This also helps remove any excess residue. I do want to say that going to the extra time and expense of stripping a finish off of a piece of furniture is probably not the best use of resources for flipping purposes, but since this piece was free and I really wanted to do this design, I decided to proceed with it anyways. Now I need to get the oily mineral spirits residue off of the piece, so I'm going to clean everything really well with TSP. It's a good heavy-duty degreasing cleaner. You want to use gloves and make sure that you go back afterwards with some clear water to remove the TSP. So I spent a little bit of time with a ruler and my drill bits trying to come up with a design for the drawers. Unfortunately, the piece of cane that I was able to get my hands on wasn't going to go far enough to do this on all 4 drawers, so I decided just to make the top drawer a feature. I used my square to mark out a rectangle in the center of the top drawer. I'm going to be cutting this area out, and that's where my cane feature will be. I didn't want to add the expense of any hardware, and I couldn't really find any hardware that was really meshing with the design that I had in mind. So I decided to use a hole saw to drill out the top section of each drawer and make a little finger pull. All of the tools and products that I've used in this flip will be listed in the description box below. So if you've been around on my channel for any length of time, you will know that I hate saws. I am not a fan of any mechanical cutting devices. So this was a really big step for me. I drilled a hole into all four corners where I wanted to make my cutout, grabbed the jigsaw, and very slowly, cautiously, and meticulously cut out the rectangle that I had traced onto my drawer front. The entire surface of this dresser needed a really good scuff sand with some 180 grit sandpaper. That is going to cut through the really shiny finish on the outside of this piece and make sure that my paint has something to hold on to. I also used a little double-sided wood rasp to sand out and clean up the cuts on my finger pulls. I use this Minwax high performance wood filler to fill in the old hardware holes. I removed all of the drawer slides from the inside of the dresser as well as the bottom of all of the drawers because I didn't want to get them all gunked up with chalk paint. I used some black satin spray paint to spray this hardware. It's not going to be as thick as my chalk paint and top coat would be, so it shouldn't interfere with the function of these slides. This dresser is going to be painted in bare decorative chalk paint in the color Classic Noir. I'll be applying my paint with my gravity-fed HVLP pneumatic spray gun. I'll leave a card up top here that tells you all about my spraying setup if you're interested. Because this bare chalk paint is already thinner than most of the paints that I use, I did not water it down. I then added 3 coats of Varathane Diamond Wood Finish in satin. I've showed this tip before where you mix a little bit of the darker colored paint into your top coat before you spray it. That helps avoid the classic clouding and blotchiness that is very common with black or dark painted pieces. Once the top coat was nice and dry, I measured out my cane webbing and cut it with just a plain pair of scissors to fit inside that drawer opening. I used my staple gun and some 1/4-inch staples to attach the webbing to the inside of the drawer. I put everything all back together. Let's take one more look at the before, and then I'll show you the after. Hey, not so fast. Remember I told you there was a problem and I needed to show you how to fix it? See how those bottom 2 drawers are a totally different shade of black than the top? I finished painting the dresser and putting everything back together in the garage at night when the lighting wasn't great. So I honestly didn't see the variation in the color on the drawers until I had it back inside the house in the natural lighting the next morning. If you follow me over on Instagram, you already know the pain and the struggle that I went through. I had no idea what went wrong. And I honestly almost considered just starting over, scrapping the entire design concept, and yeah, I was disappointed. I'm pretty sure that this happened because I didn't stir my top coat thoroughly enough before I poured it into my paint gun, and I also didn't take the time to thoroughly mix in that little dash of black paint that I added. To fix my little conundrum, I brought all 4 drawers back out to the garage. I gave my top coat a little bit of a scuff up and very lightly applied 2 more coats of paint to the tops of all 4 drawers. The next morning, I came back out to the garage and gave my can of top coat a very thorough stirring to make sure that all of that sheen component was mixed properly. Then I poured some out into a dish and again, very thoroughly mixed in that dash of black paint that is going to tint my top coat. Two more coats of now thoroughly stirred up top coat on all 4 drawers, and victory. I have a completed dresser that is now all the same shade of black. Here it is.
Stepping on a roller coaster going down, but I never felt this high. Biggest ride of the century. Wanna drop into the ocean, wanna feel like we're the only ones around, but I'm lost.
You know, sometimes in this business, actually I should say quite often in this business, things don't go according to plan. Stuff happens, furniture fights back, finishes fight back, and you just always have to be on your toes and be ready to pivot. Is this dresser perfect? Not by a long shot. But I got to practice some skills that definitely need some polishing. And I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to bring this dresser back to life and save it from the landfill. Make sure you guys leave me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if you like this flip, and have you ever had a problem with top coats over black finishes like this? Also, remember to subscribe before you go, and I will catch you guys next time.